everyone, and welcome into the Jambar Sports Extra. I'm John Ostapowitz, alongside my colleagues Will Anderson and Scott Tanner. Of course, a lot has transpired here in the world of YSU sports, but we're going to kick it off with YSU's men's golf team. The Youngstown State University men's golf team started their season by traveling to the Joe Fagans Marshall Invitational in West Virginia. The Penguins finished in 6th place on September 8th and 9th to conclude the two-day invitational at the Guyan Golf and Country Club. To wrap up the invitational, the Penguins finished 6 under par, while their 3-round team total added up to 846. The team total ranks as the second lowest 54-hole performance in school history. Redshirt junior Michael Porter wrapped up his round as an invitational, tied for 21st, which led him as being the Gwen's top finisher. Porter finished with having a career-best round of 211. The redshirt junior in his first round finished 1 under par with 5 birdies and 9 pars, while in his closing round concluded with 11 pars and 4 birdies. The Penguins will bounce back and continue their early season schedule on September 14th through 15th at the Mercyhurst Laker Fall Invitational held at the Lakeview Country Club in Erie, Pennsylvania. Of course, Will and Scott, a lot to be said about this team, but they have been on the downhill slide over the past 5 tournaments. When you look at their last win where they placed 4th, which is actually the best they have placed since March 8th in the Jackrabbit Invitational, which is hosted by South Dakota State University. What would you guys like to add about this YSU men's golf team?
Well, as we heard in the package, they're playing pretty decently. They're doing better than they needed to be, but there is more that they have to do. They aren't performing the greatest in the tournament, even though they are setting new goals. What do you think, Will?
Yes, as we said, Porter had led the Gwins, and he's led them for the past couple years. But the problem is, even if he scores high, the rest of the team, it's a team sport, as we say. So the rest of the team dragging him down a little bit, keeping him in that 6th spot. They can't finish higher. The bad players on the team don't be good.
Well, you look at the individual statistical numbers, especially for a guy such as Ryan Sam. He's been here for almost 3 years now here at YSU. He knows how to play, especially the short game. You see him long in the 9-iron and the back 9 as well. He knows what he's doing individually, but when you have guys like that, it's all about everyone playing in sync and unison. But, of course, we have to jump in to our next sport here in the Jambar Sports Extra.
The Youngstown State University's women's soccer team is back in action with a 4-game road trip. They started against Kent State and lost 5-1. Their goal came from junior Camille Patel, off an assist by fellow junior Chloe Weiland. The game also featured the first start for freshman goalkeeper Nikki White, who collected 9 saves. They then played against St. John's and lost 2-1, with the goal again coming from Patel. The trip then took them to Ann Arbor to play Michigan, where they lost 2-0. While the Gwins couldn't score, redshirt sophomore goalkeeper Maya Namole did get a career-high 15 saves in a match. The Penguins will be starting Horizon League play soon. And as they approach, the head coach, Rich Wall, has set some goals for the team.
Ultimately play to win, and so we want to win the league. But at a minimum, we do also just want to make sure we get into the tournament, and once we're there, anything can happen.
The team will be back at home September 18th to start conference play after finishing their road trip against Duquesne, September 11th. To check out the score of that game and keep up to date with the soccer team, visit ysusports.com.
The YSU women's soccer team, they are 1-6 overall right now, pending the game that they had just a few days ago against Duquesne. That is always a fun one, especially in the Bluff in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. But some of the teams they have played have been really hard. They had to go in the beginning of the season and open it up against Indiana. That is a tough Big Ten opponent. Then you have to go on the road. You have to go to the Big 12, and you have to play Texas Tech University, who is top 25 in women's soccer, and now they've moved up into the ranks as well. Top 15 for them. You had to go as well and play Kent State 5-1. Tough outing, but when you also look at that, Duquesne was able to beat Kent State. Guys, what have you seen from this team as well, especially over the past 8 games?
Well, the soccer team, they might be 1-7, but that one game did come at home, so they are unbeaten at home currently, which maybe a silver lining looking for the team there. Coach Rich Wall hoping to find some motivation for his players. Coming back the 18th, started in Horizon League play Realistically, if you look at it, to get into the NCAA tournament in a conference like YSU has, you need to win your league tournament. So all that ends up mattering is that Horizon League and conference play. So if they can turn it around and do better during conference play, they might make the tournament and go far.
And whenever they're going into the games, they always start off strong, but then end off poorly.
Scott, you want to talk about starting off strong. It's the YSU cross-country team, especially when you look at what they've been able to do in the preseason poll. Will, you want to talk a little bit more about them?
The YSU men's and women's cross-country teams open their 2025 seasons on September 6th at the Mastodon Alumni Open, hosted by Purdue University Fort Wayne. The men's squad added 11 athletes finished consecutively, with redshirt freshman Ethan Cope leading the pack. In his YSU debut, Cope finished 27th in the 5K with a time of 16 minutes and 51.5 seconds. Redshirt juniors Owen Brady and Blaze Fitcher, along with junior Noah Johnson, all crossed the finish line in 15 minutes and 51.6 seconds. As a team, the men collected 90 points to place third overall. The 2025 team debut comes after high preseason recognition. The men were named the 2025 Under Armour Horizon League cross-country preseason favorites, named to extend the longest championship streak in program history. On the women's side, sophomore Callie Richards led the team. The reigning Horizon League cross-country freshman of the year placed 26 with a time of 20 minutes flat. Senior Jenna Razavi placed 28th with a time of 20 minutes and 0.2 seconds. The next 7 Penguins finished consecutively. The women's team placed 4th overall with 117 points. The Penguins will return back home for a back-to-back tournament starting with a YSU Invitational on September 20th.
Well, it's always welcoming again to be home. When you look at the men's side, they have really dominated in the Horizon League, being able to really bring home a lot of titles here at Youngstown State University. Now, when you jump to the women's side as well, RMU has always been that roadblock. Purdue Fort Wayne has been another one over the past couple of seasons for them. Guys, what have you seen from this cross-country team? Maybe they're looking, especially on the women's side, to really downplay RMU coming up when it really becomes Horizon League tournament time.
Yeah, if you look at it, the YSU men's team, they've been able to win for the past 3 years. So that's that streak we were talking about earlier. So they're hoping to continue and add to a 4th there. And then if you go to women's, RMU won last year. They were picked to win in the preseason tournament, but YSU women was right behind them with a close second. So YSU women's team hopes to close that gap and surpass them during the season.
And a lot of the time you want to see, or a lot of the time that you see, is that teams will start out slow, and as the season progresses, they will get better and better, learning themselves and doing better.
Well, it all really matters, especially with cross-country. What does your terrain look like, especially home? You get to go to Canfield, really flat land when you look at it. But for YSU, you have a lot of key players, especially on the women's side, McKinley Fielding. For the men's, Owen Brady, Bo Gorby, and Sage Vavro. But how about this Youngstown State University men's football team? But before we do, we'll jump right into a break from our sponsors. We'll be right back here only on the Jambar Sports Extra.
We know you hear it all the time. Why Youngstown State University?
It wasn't.
Why go to a school in the Mahoning Valley of northeastern Ohio? Surprisingly beautiful as that may be. Why live on a campus that sits on the edge of the Rust Belt?
I know you were like,
historic and inspiring as that may be. In short, why choose Youngstown State? Here's why. Because when it comes to engineering, medicine, sports, business, and the skills you need to take your place in the future, we take a back seat to nobody because you can afford us. And we will afford you the opportunity to build the future you want and the life you desire. Why Youngstown State? Because we care about you, your success, and our future. Together. Youngstown State University. Now you know why.
We're back from the break here for the Jambar Sports Extra. We talked just a little bit about the YSU football team. Scott, we're going to jump a little bit more.
The Youngstown State University football team is off to a hot start this season, winning its first 2 games at Standout Stadium. Zach Flesch has more on the Penguins' strong opening stretch and a record-breaking performance from their quarterback.
The Penguins kicked off the season on August 28th against the Mercyhurst Lakers. Junior quarterback Bo Brungard led the way with 145 rushing yards, adding 2 touchdowns and throwing for 114 more.
The defense made its presence known, forcing 4 turnovers. Senior defensive back Dathan Hickey led the group with 13 tackles, an interception, and a forced fumble. Youngstown State built a 21-7 lead in the first half and never looked back, holding on late for a 24-15 victory. After the game, Coach Doug Phillips was not satisfied with the 9-point win over the Lakers.
It's a win. I don't think we're all satisfied, but it's the first time we got to play. We got to dig into the film and see areas where we can have, where we can get improvement.
A week later, Brungard put himself in the record books. Against Robert Morris, the junior ran for 264 yards, the most ever by a quarterback at Youngstown State, and a new Missouri Valley Football Conference record. He scored 4 touchdowns on the ground, added another through the air, and finished with 386 total yards. The Penguins piled up 593 yards on offense in a 56-17 win over the Colonials, moving to 2-0 on the year. With a historic performance, Brungard said it was a great feeling to show out in front of the home crowd.
I mean, I have the best O-line in front of me, the best receivers blocking, and the best running backs blocking as well, and they just make my job easy. So all the credit to them.
Youngstown State now turns to a big test on the road, traveling to East Lansing, Michigan, taking on the Michigan State Spartans at Spartan Stadium on September 13th at 3:30 p.m.
Well, the big question, especially for this YSU football team, is can this 2-0 record be improved to 3-0? You got to go on the road in East Lansing inside Spartan Stadium, a massive place to play, especially for the Penguins. A couple years ago, they had the opportunity to play them. Did not look very good on paper for them. But for you guys, what do you feel about that game? Do you feel, again, with Michigan State, they went into double overtime against Boston College. They had a few injuries before the end of the fourth quarter heading into overtime. Do you think that this could be the upset of the week, especially for YSU and the FCS? Could potentially the Penguins keep these Spartans guessing? What do you think?
There is a strong possibility. Michigan State was a little bit rocky their first 2 games, and Youngstown State was too. But Youngstown State has a little bit of oomph in them. They know what they have to do now. They did very well last week against RMU. Michigan State, what can they do? We don't know as of yet. We will see.
Yeah, and if you look at it, Michigan State, the pressure's definitely on them. With being the FBS team versus an FCS school, you're always paying these smaller schools to go up and play you. So the pressure's always on you to perform, and we'll see if Michigan State can do that.
Well, especially for them, we'll see if that pressure gets applied here coming up. But, of course, we're going to jump right in to the Youngstown State University women's volleyball team as, of course, it's officially underway, and the Penguins have wasted no time in their tournament bouts. Sports reporter Cecilia Chase has more.
Junior Gabriella Machin earned Horizon League Player of the Week honors in the opening tournament at Zidian Family Arena in Beagley Center. The YSU Invitational resulted in a 2-1 record for the Penguins, who defeated Mercyhurst University, fell to Duquesne, and rebounded with a win against Canisius University, all in 3 sets. In opening match against the Lakers, the team hit 36.7%, with 25 combined kills from Machin and senior Abby Householder. The Penguins followed with a tough matchup against Duquesne, where 2 of the sets were decided by only 2 points. The 3 sets consist of scores 34-36, 20-25, and 23-25. Undeterred from the loss, YSU went on to defeat the Griffins in 3 straight sets. After a strong showing on August 30th, the Gwins hit the road again, September 5th, traveling to St. Francis University to compete in the Altoona Grand Red Flash Classic. In this 2-day tournament, YSU faced a trio of teams, including Lafayette College, SFU, and Siena University. In the opening match against the Leopards, the Penguins came up short in 5 sets after returning from a 2-0 deficit. The following morning, the Penguins swept the Red Flash and used the momentum to wrap up the weekend with a victory over the Saints. Householder closed out the tournament in style.
Thank you, Cece. I'll take it from here. The senior didn't just reach 1 career landmark, but 2, surpassing both 1 1,000 kills and 1,000 digs. She's only the 15th Penguin to hit 1,000 kills in 10th, to notch 1,000 digs. Head coach Riley Jarrett commended the team for winning their performance against SFU and Siena, saying, "We lost our first match on Friday in 5-1 that we definitely wish we could have back to Lafayette. They did a good, especially a lot of things on the road. We just started. Then I thought we really rebounded when we played St. Francis and Siena that second day," Jarrett said. As the team looks back and reflects in their past tournament performances, Jarrett said they're focused in shaping their strengths while keeping their eyes on long-term goals. Jarrett also said, "We really want to peak at the right time, right around the middle of conference time." Next, the Penguins will travel to South Carolina to compete in the CFC Invitational, starting September 12th and ending the 14th, where YSU will face the College of Charleston, Stetson's University, and Quinnipiac University. Of course, guys, this YSU volleyball team has kept it rolling, 4-2 overall for the first time since 2019. This team looks primed and ready for Horizon League play. Well, we would love to hear more from you. Of course, that's all the time we have here on the Jambar Sports Extra. I've been John Ostapowitz, of course, alongside my colleagues Will Anderson and Scott Tanner. We'll see you here next time.
Support for Jambar TV is provided in part by the YSU Foundation and the Jane F. Lamb Charitable Foundation. Thank you.